Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Megaro31. Hope you're having a great weekend. I am still crushing it in spring training. A couple more good slates today. And Xfinity, if you watched the video, I talked about my cash line did okay, I talked about rotating some of the dominators out. And in one of the lines, I rotated out Crow Custer and I put in Chandler Smith. And I even trusted Joey Gase in it with the rest of the core, and it actually shared a takedown. So it's pretty cool. A nice ROI there, won some tickets. So um, Actually been on kind of a mini heater this week between spring training and NASCAR and some other things. A little bit of NBA in there too. So just hope it continues. So if as promised, and thank you for your viewership last week on the video. We had 1.5, and on Monday, what I'm doing, for this is not going to happen probably the whole season, but for the time being, to thank you guys for your and girls for your viewership. If you go back to the I'll go back to the video on Monday, and if the video is over 1,000 hits, I put a coupon on for a free 1-day pass at FSI DFS to come in, and this could come in handy down the road because it's only good for the next week of racing, but there'll be times where there's like such a quick turnaround that you might not be able to I might not be able to get a video out. I barely squeaked the one out on Friday for the truck race, which was an amazing race, by the way. But if this video hits 2,000 hits by Monday morning or views, then I'll put a coupon for a full week pass to FSI DFS. So if you just want to get it anyways, you can check out our pricing package for all the cool things that we have going on. We've got NBA going on still. We've got NHL going on. Charlie's crushing it in soccer. We have PGA. We have NASCAR. We have MLB string training. Just go to the description of the video. You can get to our website. You can see all our pricing there. So enough commercials. Let's get into the slate. Las Vegas. Track hasn't been reconfigured since I believe 2004, hasn't been repaved since then. Starting to get between an older track. There's a definite middle groove where most people want to be. You can make the outside work. You can make the bottom work. You can go 3 wide. The bottom's a little bumpy, so this does turn into a little bit of a tire wear track. We're not talking old Atlanta. We're not talking Homestead, but we're talking something where there's significant fall off and decline that we have to be ready for. Didn't throw any practice speeds on here like I did for the Xfinity race because they still had those like really, really strong winds. And most of the people felt that kind of affected some of the practice speed, and they weren't going to really make adjustments to the car too much if the car was slower because it's going to be completely different conditions, and they felt that they're set up correctly for the track, not for the blowing winds. So without the winds tomorrow, they think they'll be all set. And you have you want some dominators here, either 2 or 3 dominator build. We saw 2 dominators in Xfinity between Smith and John Hunter Nemechek. So we'll probably at least 2 dominators here, potentially 3 as we build. So you'll notice I added some new categories just to try to help out, and I added some definitions to those categories to try to help you understand, because I got a lot of questions like, what's a cash play? What's a GPP mean? Cash game plays are plays that I just feel are pretty safe plays. They're good drivers that are qualified further in the back and should make their way up in the field and get positive place differential, because on DraftKings say if your driver advances, then you start to gain points. If your driver goes backwards, then you start to lose points. So you want to kind of avoid that. So the drivers that are starting closer to the top, that aren't as strong or in good conditions, that might fall back, they're going to be a GPP because they do have the upside to kind of finish where they are with the track position. But if they fall back, then they're going to lose you points. Whereas the cash guys have a pretty good floor, which means that even if they do fall back, they're not going to lose as much, but they do have potential to gain points. As we look at dominators are people that could go out and lead multiple laps and accumulate those points and also accumulate fast lap points. You want to kind of get up here in the clean air and be able to run out there and not be stuck in the back and and not be able to advance. But we should see some good racing here with these composite bodies. They can get up there, and if they touch the wall or bump the wall, it's not going to disintegrate the car. They should be able to bump and bang a little bit. So hopefully it's an exciting race. So we'll start up at the top. Joey Logano has another pole. Whole conspiracy thing that he's got this glove that he wears that during qualifying that he uses to like block some of the air coming in, which gives the car more downforce and gives it a couple more extra seconds of speed or something like that. I don't know if it's true or not. But obviously he has done well in the last couple of races getting poles. I think he's an upside dominator here, which is like a GPP dominator instead of like a cash guy. If I wasn't doing the dominating tags, you just have he could go out there and be able to lead early. But I think Larson, that's why I make him a prime play, and he's also a dominator. So even though it says prime, he's a prime and dominator. So I think that Larson can definitely get out there and get ahead of Logano, because this is the first track for these new Ford, like the mile and a half, not a super speedway, for the Fords and the new body for the Toyota. So we'll have to see how they respond there. And we think the Fords had like really good qualifying speed, but we don't know if they have really long run speed. The Chevys are fast, and we think the Toyotas have some really good long run speed. So I think Kyle can get out there ahead of Joey eventually, probably pretty early on, and dominate this race. I think he should be super popular. And Joey's a GPP. If you think he can hang on to it, I did not think Raja Karuth would be able to in the Truck Series, being so young. I thought he was going to fall right back, but he was able. He had a really good dominant truck and was able to stay up there, get back up there, and in the end win the race. Could Joey do that? Yes. Do I think it's likely with some of the other drivers in here in better situations? I'm just going to lean on them. So starting my team with Larson. Austin Cindric, thanks for playing. Starting way too high up here is fade for me. Uh, Byron could also dominate this race, and it could be traded off between Larson and Byron. And I don't struggle if you can figure out with the salary to play both Larson and Byron in the same lineup. And I think he's going to be very chalky also. And we've seen him dominate and do really well at this racetrack and other mile and halves. Bubba Wallace qualified really well. Said we think the Toyotas have good long run speed, so we might drop back a little bit, but be able to start passing people as their tires fall off. I I know some people think that he could be a dominator here, but I just think there's so many other good drivers that could potentially get ahead of him that I don't see him out there leading a lot of the race. So I think he's a GPP for me, but I can't play him in cash. Chase Briscoe is a fade. Really like him as a driver, but this is just not the track that I think I really want to. I like him on tracks where it's like shorter and you have to shift a lot and things like that, and more of a technical track. So I think he falls back here. Martin Truex Jr., I know people would probably tell you that he could potentially be a dominator. I just can't give him that tag because, again, I think the Toyotas have good long run speed, which means that he'll be good eventually, but I don't know if he can get up there like quick enough to catch somebody that's going to pull away and have all the clean air. So even if he does have good long run speed and can stay in the top 10, I don't see him getting out front. And the other thing too is he's been absolutely horrible on restarts this year and last year. So I just see that being detrimental to him. GPP also. Ty Gibbs, I think there's a lot of upside this season. I think we see him win a couple races. I think he's learned a lot, and he doesn't seem like the spoiled little brat, that silver spoon kid that he was in Xfinity, in my opinion. Uh, but I still think he's a GPP here. I think, again, these Toyotas have good long run speed, but I just don't see him going up and being able to dominate at all. Looks like my camera went away. Let's check on that. I don't know what happened. There I go. There, I'm back. You don't really need to see me anyways. Um, where were we? Chris Buescher. I like these Roush Fenway cars, and I'll definitely consider playing him some. I hate that he started too far forward, and I'll explain more when I get down to Keselowski, but I think he's in play as a GPP here. Christopher Bell, I think, is a great GPP with upside to go out there and to dominate, look good in the truck race. And again, with these Toyotas having good long run speed, I think that he is one that could actually get up there and actually potentially contend for the lead at some point. Chase Elliott, same thing. The Chevys have looked fast. I don't know if he's going to get past his Chevy teammates, but I think he has the upside to potentially be a dominator in a GPP scenario. Michael McDowell starting too far forward to fade. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Too volatile and starting too far forward. It's just too detrimental to play, and I don't see him going up and leading the race, although he might try. But fade for me. And Carson Hocevar, I like him, liked him in the truck series, excited that he's a rookie here, but good job qualifying here. But again, I just think there's so many guys behind him. Like you got a whole run of like beautiful cash plays coming up. I just can't do it. So it's gonna be a fade. Ryan Blaney could be a dominator. I think that he's one that's aggressive and could get up there if the Ford body type responds well to this type of track in racing conditions and not in practice and qualifying. So I think that he definitely could be a dominator, somebody can consider in cash. Daniel Suarez, super impressed that he won last week. He actually was the last man in my lineup. Once we saw that Logano had to go to the back because of the whole glove thing, pulled him out of my lineups, and I ended up putting maybe Byron or Kyle Busch in there, and that the salary I had left, I landed squarely on Suarez, and I was like, I think he's got enough floor. I'll try him, and he ended up winning the race. So that was exciting and did pretty well. So this race, I don't think he's going to have the same, but he does have some upside. So definitely consider him in a GPP strongly, but I don't think he's got a floor enough for cash. Corey LaJoie's run really well recently, and actually has seen Spire has actually taken steps forward, but I think he can end up in the top 20, but I don't know if he can really advance with some of the cars behind him that I think can get by him. So GPP for me. Tyler Reddick, if there was I mean, there's many tracks made for Tyler Reddick, but this is definitely one of them with that high groove tire wear. He just does so well running high. I think he's be highly owned. I think he could definitely be a dominator. I think he's a threat to win the race, and he's got great plate differential. So cash play dominator. If you can fit him in as your second or third dominator, go for it. I think he's solid play here. Austin Dillon, GPP to fade for me. He's just he's a good guy. I just really has struggled as a NASCAR driver on a really good team. So again, until I see some consistency, I just wish you could turn it into like a solid floor play, like LaJoie's been. Like I know how LaJoie's GPP here, but like I just really wish like Austin Dillon could just. We know he's not going to win a race. We know he's going to lead, but he's just going to stand his ground, maybe advance a couple of positions, and be the blue collar lunchbox guy that just goes and gets the job done, doesn't cause any drama, or anything. Shows up for work, punches in on time, puts in on his day work, gets good results, and then goes home. But that's not him yet. Ross Chastain, another dominator that could get up there too. And you know, if you want to pair these two with Larson, that could be decent. Or, if you can't afford like one of the 10K dominators like Byron or Blaney, here's two nice options here. Like him, like the upside, like the aggressive. Trackhouse took a step back last year, starting to look a little bit better this year, and I think this will kind of tell us like where they're at. Kyle Busch is home track for him. Won the truck race here, always races here well, has some upside. I thought about making him a UDOM, but I think he's got enough floor to be cash for place differential. 9,700 is not a bad price tag. I think he'll be highly owned and solid play there. Eric Jones looked. I mean, he didn't really look great in practice, and I think the speed was more of one of those. We're not going to make adjustments because of the wind thing. So, starting 22nd, I think he can at least finish there. 7,400. I think he's safe enough to be a cash play there. Kind of the blue collar, like just go do your job play I was talking about for Austin Dillon. I think Eric Jones could be there. Zane Smith, I think there's a lot of upside at 5,700. He ran this track really well in Truck Series. He ran this track really well in the truck on Friday. The Spire team has taken a lot of steps forward, like especially with LaJoy, and I think as they continue to try to grow across the different levels of NASCAR, I think they're a good driver. I think they're a good future in 5,700. I think he's a solid. I think he'll finish in the top 25, so definitely can use him there. Brad Keselowski has have prime play. He has done really well at this track. He has figured out some different strategies. Like once he took 2 tires, and everybody else took 4, got on the track position. And they thought he'd fall back, but he was able to hold it, got a caution, I believe, and was able to stay out there. And I think he ended up winning the race. It was either one of the races last year, or maybe it was the previous year, but we've seen him do some things. And that's why I said kind of like Busher 2 in a GPP, because I think that these teams know how to get creative to try to get them good field position or track position and be able to be strong. In 8,500, I love the price, and I think that he easily, if he gets up there, and could be a dominator. So so many he has and I think this is be the he's gone 100 races, so I think this is the 101st race that he has run without a win. So I think he's due. I'm not saying he's going to win this one, but I think he does quite well. Josh Berry, they have a really good crew chief that when Harvick ran this car, he was good on tire wear tracks. Was a master on Old Atlanta, and Barry has done well at tire wear and Xfinity. So I think that he can definitely, with the leadership of his crew and team, a solid play here. John Hunter Nemechek, I think there's a lot of upside here for cash. I think a lot of people might gravitate towards him just because he won the Xfinity race. Completely different car, completely different situation, but I think that he can do decent here. Denny Hamlin, thought about him as a prime, but just couldn't make him a prime and Larson a prime. There's just way too much salary there. So, and again, at 10, I don't know if he can get up there and actually dominate and lead laps. That's why I just have him as a cash play. But he's going to need a heck of a lot of place differential, almost sniffing the top 5 to be able to pay off his price tag. So, maybe like 8, maybe he's like 20 place differential points just to kind of get to like 4x or so. And that's not without even like leading or having a fast lap. So cash, not making him a priority. I will have some shares of him, but he's not going to be one of my dominators. And I don't think, like, if I do get my dominators in and my value plays I want to play, that I'm going to be able to roster him, but I will have some shares. Harrison Burton. He finished 11th last week after I said I'll start playing Harrison Burton when he stops running into things. 1 week isn't enough to make me start to want to play Harrison Burton. Lost my camera again. But he is at least deserving at this point of losing the fade tag and getting the GPP tag. So Harrison Burton, for the first time in a while, is in play. So not for cash games. For cash games, there's other options. But for GPP, yes. Noah Gregson, GPP. I know some people consider him in cash, but his fall off was bad. And I know, again, like I said, wind in practice, and practice is just that, practice, trying things, but it just really didn't look like he had a ton of long run speed. So that concerns me. So GPP instead of a cash play. Todd Gillian, really looking for him to kind of be the blue collar guy he's been in the past. I think GPP solid here. Ever since the front row's been working with Penske, we've seen a ton of improvement, and I think that I definitely can see him having a solid start here and potentially getting up in the top 25, which probably enough to pay off his price tag. But I have it as GPP just because I like some other plays in cash there. JJ Yaley's a fade. I think he's just going to go backwards. This New York racing team doesn't race that often, so I don't know if they're what they can do if they have any issues or damage or anything. Kaz Growla, absolutely. Or I was thinking Sage Cram. I get Growler and Cram confused sometimes. Yeah. I had too much Sage Cram in the Xfinity and he lost his transmission. And it kind of hurt my cash lineup, although like I said, the GPP lineup crushed. So that's why I try to vary my lineups. So like I'm not 100% on any driver, even though I think that they're a great play just in case there's situations like that. Um, but Kaz Growler, GPP, I think there's some upside, but this Rick Ware car is just uh not great. Daniel Hemrick in his colleague car, I think he should be a cash play starting this far down and being in a really good colleague car, but again, he's not your average driver coming from Xfinity to Cup. He's been in Cup before. He's just really it's just kind of there. Like it's kind of like if you watch Premier League soccer, the three teams that get up and it gets sent up and promoted, like they're not necessarily going to contend for the title. And sometimes they call them yo-yo teams because they keep on going down and up and down and up. And I think that Hemrick's just like a decent Xfinity driver that just happens to be in the Cup Series. And I just don't think it translates well. So I think you can play him in cash because I think there's a tremendous upside with starting position, but I don't think he's going to break the slate. Justin Haley had a steering issue or something broke on the car, so that's why he qualified down this far. Hopefully that fixed, but Rick Ware has questionable machines. Not as bad as some of the machines that were questioned in Truck Series and in Xfinity, but enough to make him a GP or a cash play. Priest, I really like. He had to go to a backup car. He wrecked his, but I think he'll be perfectly fine. Prime play going to be highly owned, and I think he'll definitely get some place differential, be able to pay off his $6,000 price tag. And then Kraus down here is just really not a good driver. Our colleague's a good team, but like he just doesn't have the experience or anything. But I didn't put him as a fade because I did play Joey Gase in the same situation, and there was a wreck early on, and through attrition, he was able to move up. Where did Joey Gase end up finishing? 30th. So he actually got 8 place differential points. And I think he only finished like 4 laps down. So or maybe 5 laps down. It wasn't bad. It was a good effort. So I think same thing with Kraus. I think through attrition they can definitely move up. So it's a GPP play. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully that helps. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat below. Hit me up at Megaro31 on Twitter. If you do reach out to me on Sunday mornings, I do church services, so I won't be available between 10 and probably like 12:30. But after that, I'll look over the questions and try to get back to you on those. And I have no idea what's happening. My camera just disappeared now. Up there, everything's gone. Well, anyways, maybe I need to put another quarter in or something. Or maybe it's just my foot's moving. I keep on kicking the wire. I don't know. Anyways, I apologize for that. But as I said, if you want more information on FSI DFS, you can go to the description of the video, and the link there is to our website. And check back on Monday if this video hit 1,000. I'll throw out a coupon for next weekend for a 1-day pass in FSI. And if it hits 2,000, then I will open up the whole weekend for free. And again, we have spring training, a whole bunch of other things going on. Come check it out. So good luck in your contests. And if these videos help you, please help us back. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 4,700, just need a few more. And then we just want to continue the climb to 5,000. So appreciate all you that have subscribed, all the loyal viewers, and all the interaction I've had with you in the chats and in Discord and on Twitter. It's just been amazing. So thank you so much. Love talking to people about NASCAR and seeing what I can do to help you with building your lines and answering your questions. So, I am definitely available to you to try to help as much as I can. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next weekend.